Brazil finishes this chart with 79 World Cup victories. Germany follows with 70. But those final numbers hide a much stranger story. The first leader disappeared from the tournament for 2 decades. Italy built a dynasty before international football stopped for 12 years. Brazil needed 6 tournaments to win its first trophy, then changed the scale of World Cup success. Germany rarely dominated for long, yet kept returning so consistently that almost nobody could escape its shadow. Argentina's rise came in 3 separate generations. France and Spain arrived late, then accelerated quickly. Every bar on screen records cumulative match victories at the Men's FIFA World Cup, beginning in 1930 and ending with the latest completed 2026 match in this data cut. Watch the gaps as carefully as the rankings. A country can own one unforgettable summer. Sustained power requires winning again, across generations, systems, coaches, and entirely different versions of football. The first World Cup was small. 13 teams, 18 matches, all played in Uruguay. The hosts won 4 times, including a 4-2 final against Argentina, and became the chart's first leader. Yet this metric measures every match victory, not only championships. A win adds 1, a draw adds nothing. A match tied before a penalty shootout remains a draw in the historical statistics. That keeps the rule consistent across eras. Italy did not enter in 1930. 4 years later, it won 5 matches at home and took the trophy. In 1938, Italy won 4 more and became the first nation to defend the title. By the time the competition stopped, Italy had 9 victories and 2 championships. Brazil, Germany, and Argentina were still behind. This is the first lesson of the race. Arriving early matters, but converting appearances into repeated wins matters more. Italy had created the first World Cup machine. There was no World Cup in 1942 or 1946. When the competition returned in Brazil in 1950, the old ranking no longer predicted the winner. Brazil moved through the tournament with explosive scoring and needed only a draw against Uruguay in the decisive final stage match. Uruguay won 2-1 in the Maracanã and claimed its second title. On the chart, however, Brazil kept gaining ground because the tournament had added more victories to its total. 4 years later, West Germany won its first championship by beating Hungary in the final. Hungary had entered that match as the most feared team in international football and had already defeated Germany 8-3 in the group stage. The reversal demonstrated why a cumulative race needs explanation. One tournament can create several wins, but the final match still determines the champion. By 1954, the field was compressed. Italy held the historical lead while Brazil, Uruguay, and Germany were building very different paths toward it. Brazil's transformation began in 1958. A 17-year-old Pelé scored in the quarterfinal, produced a hat trick in the semifinal, and scored twice in the final against Sweden. Brazil collected 5 wins and its first title. In 1962, even after Pelé was injured, Garrincha helped carry the team to a second consecutive championship. Then came 1970, 6 matches, 6 victories, and a 4-1 final against Italy. Brazil had won 3 of 4 World Cups and moved decisively ahead in the race. The bar grows quickly because the achievement was larger than 3 trophies. Across those tournaments, Brazil repeatedly reached the matches where another victory was available. The team also adapted, from the balance of 1958, through Garrincha's responsibility in 1962, to the technically rich attack of 1970. Pelé became the only player to win 3 World Cups. Brazil became the standard every later dynasty would be measured against, and the chart gained a leader it has never surrendered. After Brazil's 1970 peak, the race becomes less predictable. West Germany won the European Championship in 1972 and then the World Cup at home in 1974. The Netherlands supplied the tournament's most influential visual idea, total football, but Germany won the final. Argentina captured its first title in 1978, also at home, after a 48-year absence from the podium. Italy then won in 1982, powered by Paolo Rossi's decisive scoring in the knockout rounds. These champions changed, but one bar kept applying pressure. Germany reached the later stages again and again. It could lose a famous match, recover, and return at the next tournament with another generation. Cumulative wins reward exactly that behavior. A spectacular champion rises sharply. A country that reaches quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals for decades builds something heavier: institutional momentum. Brazil remained ahead, yet Germany's repeated deep runs prevented the leader from becoming untouchable. The 1986 tournament gave Argentina its defining acceleration. Diego Maradona was involved in nearly everything important: creation, control, controversy, and the 2 goals against England that became inseparable from World Cup history. Argentina won 6 matches and lifted its second trophy. 4 years later, it reached the final again, this time losing to Germany. Germany's 1990 victory completed a sequence of 3 consecutive final appearances and delivered its 3rd championship. On the chart, that consistency matters as much as the trophy. Germany closes on Brazil, while Argentina separates itself from the crowded middle. Yet their paths look different. Germany's line is long and methodical. Argentina's rises arrive in emotional bursts. 1978, 1986, then a long wait. This is why the moving bars are useful. Memory compresses history into champions and iconic players. The race restores all the victories between those moments, including the difficult matches required simply to remain alive long enough for an icon to define a tournament. Brazil entered the 1994 World Cup without a title for 24 years. The drought ended in Pasadena after a final against Italy finished goalless and was decided on penalties. Statistically, that final remains a draw, but Brazil's 5 earlier victories still expanded its lead. In 1998, France transformed from a country with deep football history into a World Cup champion. The hosts beat Brazil 3-0 in the final and added 5 victories in one tournament. 4 years later, Brazil answered with the only perfect 7-win campaign of the 32-team era. Ronaldo scored twice against Germany in the final, and Brazil claimed a 5th title. That 2002 run created the steepest modern section of the leading bar. It also established the current championship order: Brazil on 5, Germany and Italy eventually on 4, Argentina on 3. France's emergence showed that a late starting bar can climb quickly. Brazil showed how difficult it is to catch a leader that can renew itself. From 2006 through 2014, European teams won 3 World Cups in succession. Italy survived a tense 2006 knockout path and defeated France on penalties in the final. Spain's 2010 team produced a different kind of control. Its matches were often tight, but the possession structure limited opponents and created 4 consecutive 1-0 victories in the knockout stage. Spain added 6 wins and its first championship. Germany then completed its long pursuit in 2014. The 7-1 semifinal against Brazil became the tournament's most brutal single result, and an extra-time goal defeated Argentina in the final. Germany had now won 4 championships and accumulated enough match victories to stand clearly behind Brazil. Yet the chart also reveals a reversal. Italy stopped qualifying regularly. Spain followed its peak with earlier exits. Germany later suffered consecutive group stage eliminations. Historical totals protect past achievement. They do not guarantee present strength. A bar can remain high, while its current team is already losing momentum. France won again in 2018 with a young, fast, and tactically adaptable squad. That tournament pushed France into the historical top group despite appearing in far fewer World Cups than Brazil or Germany. In 2022, Argentina's opening defeat to Saudi Arabia seemed to threaten another early disappointment. Instead, the team recovered, survived the Netherlands on penalties, beat Croatia, and then met France in one of the most dramatic finals ever played. The match ended 3-3 after extra time. Argentina won the shootout, claimed its 3rd championship, and completed Lionel Messi's World Cup story. Under this chart's rule, the final itself adds no match victory because the score was level. Argentina's earlier wins still drive the bar upward. That distinction matters. Trophies answer who became champion. Cumulative victories answer who repeatedly controlled World Cup matches. Together, they show why Argentina's modern rise is real, while Brazil and Germany still possess enormous historical distance. The 2026 tournament expanded the field to 48 teams and the schedule to 104 matches. A finalist now plays 8 games rather than 7, creating more opportunities to win and more ways to fail. At this video's verified cutoff, Brazil remains first with 79 victories and Germany second with 70. Argentina has reached 53. France and Italy are level on 45. England and Spain are level on 37 after Spain defeated France 2-0 to reach the final. The remaining matches can move the modern chase, but they cannot erase 96 years of accumulated distance. That is the final lesson. World Cup power has several meanings: trophies, peak teams, iconic players, consistency, and the ability to rebuild. This race measures only one of them: match victories, and states that boundary clearly. Brazil still owns the longest record of winning. The 2026 champion will add a new ending. The larger historical question remains open: which nation is building the next era rather than celebrating the last one?